Welcome back to the channel Valuable Coins HD, coin enthusiasts. Today, we're diving into the world of a coin that might seem like just another penny you find in your pocket change, but hold on. The 1979 Lincoln penny is far from ordinary. This small, seemingly simple coin holds the potential for a big surprise, especially if you're lucky enough to stumble upon a rare version of it. If you're a coin collector or just someone who's intrigued by the world of rare finds, then this video is definitely for you. Stick around to the end, because we'll reveal just how much a 1979 Lincoln penny can be worth, and you might be amazed. So, let's take a step back and talk about the history of the 1979 Lincoln penny. Issued by the U.S. Mint as part of the regular circulation in that year, the 1979 penny has the well-known design we all recognize: Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. It's a coin that has been in circulation for decades, and while it was part of everyday transactions, it's not often thought of as a collector's item. But there's more to this coin than meets the eye, especially when it comes to specific errors and rare variations that can make it highly valuable. Now, why would the 1979 Lincoln penny be worth anything more than just 1 cent? Well, let me tell you, the magic lies in the imperfections. And by imperfections, I mean minting errors. For those who don't know, minting errors happen when a coin isn't struck correctly during production. These errors can make a coin look different from the rest of the batch, and that's where the value comes in. If you've ever heard the term error coins in the world of coin collecting, this is exactly what they're referring to: coins that were produced incorrectly, yet hold immense value because of their rarity. One of the most sought-after errors that can be found on a 1979 Lincoln penny is called a double die error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned, and the image is stamped twice, creating a doubled effect. In the case of the 1979 penny, this error often appears on the date or the word Liberty. If you look closely at your penny and notice that the date or lettering is doubled, you may have a rare and valuable coin on your hands. Double die errors are highly coveted in the coin collecting world, and they can cause a coin's value to increase dramatically. Another error to keep an eye out for is the off-center strike. An off-center strike happens when a coin is not aligned properly in the press, resulting in a design that is shifted to one side. This can cause parts of the coin's design to be missing or partially cut off. Off-center strikes are another error that collectors love because each one is unique. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin becomes. If you have a 1979 Lincoln penny with a noticeable off-center strike, it could be worth much more than its face value. But wait, there's more. Another potential error on the 1979 Lincoln penny is the die crack. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin gets cracked over time, and the crack leaves an impression on the coin. Die cracks are not as obvious as double die or off-center strikes, but they're still valuable to collectors. If you come across a 1979 penny with a die crack running through the design, especially across Lincoln's face or the date, you may have a highly desirable coin. The reason these errors make the 1979 penny so special is simple: rarity. Most of the pennies made in 1979 were struck without any issues. It's the ones with the errors, the unique characteristics, that are the true treasures. These errors make the coins stand out and provide a glimpse into the history of the minting process. And because errors are, by their nature, uncommon, they are extremely sought after by collectors, making them much more valuable than your typical penny. So, now that we know why these errors are important, let's get to the part you're all waiting for: the value. You might be thinking, it's just a penny, how much could it really be worth? Well, here's the incredible part: if you have a 1979 Lincoln penny with one of these rare minting errors, such as a double die, off-center strike, or die crack, it could be worth as much as $32,000. Yes, you heard that right, $32,000 for a single penny. It's mind-blowing when you think about how a small mistake in the minting process can lead to such a high value. These rare 1979 pennies have been known to sell for impressive amounts at auctions, especially when they are in good condition. So, next time you're sorting through your loose change or digging through old coin collections, make sure to give those 1979 Lincoln pennies a closer look. If you think you might have one of these rare coins, it's worth taking a moment to inspect it carefully. Grab a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe and check for any of the minting errors we've talked about. Look closely at the date, the lettering, and the overall alignment of the coin. If you spot any doubling, misalignment, or cracks, you may have just uncovered a hidden gem. And don't forget, if you think your 1979 penny is an error coin, it's a good idea to have it professionally graded by a coin expert. A certified grade can help you determine its true value and give you an idea of how much it could fetch on the market. Coin collecting is all about the thrill of the hunt. It's about finding that one special coin that others overlook, and that's exactly what the 1979 Lincoln penny offers. Who would have thought that a simple penny, produced in the late 70s, could be worth so much today? Today, we're going to talk about a fascinating coin that could be hiding in your pocket change or tucked away in an old coin jar, the 1978 Lincoln penny. While you might think it's just another penny, there's more to this little coin than meets the eye. This coin, minted over 4 decades ago, could potentially hold more value than you can imagine, especially if you know what to look for. You won't want to miss what we're about to reveal. By the end of this video, you might just find yourself scouring through your collection or checking your spare change to see if you've got one of these hidden treasures. The 1978 Lincoln penny is part of the classic series that has been in circulation since the early 1900s. It features the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But, as you may know, the world of coin collecting isn't just about the coins themselves, it's about the history behind them, the rarity, and sometimes, those small but significant imperfections that can make a coin worth thousands of dollars. So, what makes the 1978 penny stand out in the world of coin collectors? Let's talk about minting errors, because this is where things get interesting. Minting errors are what turn a common coin into a rare find, and the 1978 penny is no exception. When you think of coins, you probably picture the perfect strike, the design clean and crisp. But sometimes, things go wrong at the US Mint, and that's where the magic happens for collectors. Minting errors can make a coin unique and, in some cases, incredibly valuable. One of the most exciting errors to look for on the 1978 Lincoln penny is the double die error. This occurs when the coin's die is misaligned during the striking process, resulting in a doubled image. For the 1978 penny, this error can be especially visible on the date or the word Liberty. Imagine looking at your penny and noticing that the letters or numbers appear twice. That's a double die error, and if you have one, you could be sitting on a rare and valuable coin. Double die errors, while not common, are prized by collectors because they're unique and hard to find, and that's why they can command such high prices. Another minting error that could increase the value of your 1978 Lincoln penny is the off-center strike. An off-center strike happens when the coin is not aligned properly in the press, causing the design to be shifted. This results in a coin that may have part of its design missing, or the design could be positioned awkwardly. Off-center pennies are coveted by collectors because no two are alike. Each off-center strike is different, and the more pronounced the error, the more valuable the coin can be. If you come across a 1978 penny with a noticeable off-center strike, it could make your coin far more valuable than the mere 1 cent it's marked with. And let's not forget about the die cracks. Over time, the dies used to strike coins can develop cracks. When these cracks transfer onto the coins, they leave unique markings on the surface. These die cracks, especially those that appear in prominent areas like Lincoln's face or the date, can make a coin especially desirable. Though die cracks are more subtle than other errors, they can still significantly increase the value of a coin. If you find a 1978 Lincoln penny with these types of markings, it's definitely worth taking a closer look because collectors will pay a premium for these rare features. Now, you might be wondering, how much could a 1978 penny with one of these errors actually be worth? If you've got a 1978 penny that features a double die error, an off-center strike, or a die crack, it could be worth a lot more than you think. Coins with these errors have been known to fetch incredible prices at auctions, especially when they're in excellent condition. If you've got one of these rare pieces, you could be looking at a value of $33,900. Yes, you heard that right, $33,900 for a single penny. It's hard to believe that something so small could be worth so much, but that's the beauty of coin collecting. What makes these errors so valuable is that they are unique, and once they're discovered, they can't be recreated. It's the rarity and the history behind these coins that makes them so appealing to collectors and numismatists around the world. So, how can you find out if you have a 1978 penny worth thousands of dollars? Start by examining the condition of the coin. Coins in mint condition, especially those with errors, are more valuable. Look closely at the date, the lettering, and the overall alignment of the design. If you notice any doubling, misalignment, or cracks, you might have something special on your hands. And remember, a professional coin grading service can help determine the exact value of your penny based on its condition and the type of error it has. Coin collecting is all about the thrill of the hunt, and every now and then, you might stumble upon a gem that could change your collection forever. The 1978 Lincoln penny, with its potential for rare minting errors, is a prime example of a coin that could be hiding in plain sight. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a casual enthusiast, keep your eyes peeled for these potential treasures. They might be worth more than you think. Today, we've got a real treat for you, a coin that might be sitting right under your nose, in your loose change, or maybe buried in an old jar of pennies. I'm talking about the 1982 Lincoln penny. Now, you might think, it's just another penny, right? But hold on, this is not your average, run-of-the-mill cent. The 1982 penny holds some unique qualities that make it incredibly valuable, and by the end of this video, you might just be checking your coin collections for this very gem. So, let's dive into the fascinating world of the 1982 Lincoln penny and uncover just why it could be worth a lot more than you think. Now, the 1982 Lincoln penny is an interesting one, especially when you consider the historical context surrounding its production. The United States Mint made a significant change to the penny in 1982. The composition of the coin was altered. Prior to 1982, the penny was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. However, due to rising copper prices, the mint transitioned to a composition of 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper for pennies minted after 1982. This change in material makes the 1982 penny a unique and transitional coin in the world of numismatics, but what makes the 1982 penny even more intriguing is the fact that there are actually two different types of 1982 pennies, copper and zinc. The mint didn't immediately switch all production to the new zinc composition, so both copper and zinc pennies were produced in 1982. The copper version was minted early in the year, while the zinc version appeared later. This creates a rare opportunity for collectors to find a 1982 penny made of copper, even though it was meant to be the last batch of copper pennies. The confusion between these two types of pennies is what makes the 1982 Lincoln penny even more fascinating to coin collectors and enthusiasts alike. When it comes to rarity, the copper 1982 penny stands out. It was only produced in limited quantities, and as a result, it's much harder to find than the zinc version. If you happen to come across a 1982 penny that's made of copper, you found a very rare piece of US coinage. This particular variation is what many collectors are on the lookout for, and they'll pay top dollar for it, especially if it's in great condition. But wait, there's more. Along with the change in the material of the penny, 1982 also saw some significant minting errors that have made certain pennies from this year even more valuable. One of the most exciting errors to look for on the 1982 Lincoln penny is a double die error. This occurs when the coin is struck twice by the die, causing the image to appear doubled. You might notice this error on the date, the word Liberty, or even on Lincoln's portrait. A double die error on a 1982 penny can make it incredibly valuable, as these types of errors are rare and highly sought after by collectors. Another error to look for is the off-center strike, which happens when the penny is misaligned in the press, resulting in a design that's shifted off to one side of the coin. Off-center coins are often unique, with parts of the design either missing or displaced. If you come across a 1982 penny with an off-center strike, it could be worth a significant amount of money to the right collector. The more dramatic the shift, the more valuable the coin becomes. Let's not forget about die cracks. Die cracks occur when the die used to strike the coins develops cracks. These cracks can leave interesting and unique markings on the coin, often making it stand out from the rest. If you find a 1982 penny with a noticeable die crack, especially one that runs across Lincoln's face or through the date, you've got a rare find on your hands that could be worth quite a bit more than face value. Now, you might be wondering, how much could these coins really be worth? After all, it's just a penny. But here's the exciting part: the 1982 Lincoln penny, especially one with rare minting errors or made from copper, can be worth far more than you might expect. If you find a copper version of the 1982 penny, or one with a double die, off-center strike, or die crack, it could fetch up to $37,500. Yes, that's $37,500 for a single penny. It's absolutely incredible to think that such a small coin, which was once worth just 1 cent, can now be worth thousands of dollars due to these rare minting errors and the unique copper composition. The rarity of these coins, combined with their connection to an important time in U.S. coin history, makes them highly desirable to collectors around the world. If you're sitting there wondering if you have one of these valuable pennies, it's time to start looking through your collection or spare change. Take a good look at the pennies you've kept over the years, and check carefully for the key features we've talked about. Look for any doubling, misalignment, or die cracks. And remember, if you think you found something special, it's always worth getting your coin professionally graded. A certified coin can help determine its true value and give you an idea of how much it could be worth in today's market. In the world of coin collecting, finding a rare piece like the 1982 Lincoln penny is a thrill unlike any other. Coins that have these unique characteristics don't just hold value, they hold history. So, if you've got a 1982 penny, give it a closer look. It might just be the treasure you've been searching for. Today, we're diving into a coin that might just be hiding in plain sight in your collection or even in your change jar. That's right, I'm talking about the 1980 Lincoln penny, a coin that's far more than just a 1-cent piece. While it may seem like a simple penny, it holds some fascinating qualities that make it not only historically significant but also highly valuable to collectors. So sit tight, because you're about to discover why this seemingly ordinary penny could be worth a lot more than you think. First, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. By the time 1980 rolled around, the U.S. economy had undergone significant changes. The 1970s had been a decade marked by high inflation, rising copper prices, and shifting monetary policies. This period was crucial because it set the stage for changes in how the U.S. Mint produced its coins. The 1980 Lincoln penny, while not as dramatic as some other years, is still a coin of interest to collectors due to its rarity, minting errors, and unique features. What makes the 1980 penny particularly intriguing is its composition. The Lincoln pennies minted from 1959 until 1982 were made primarily of 95% copper and 5% zinc, making them heavier and more valuable in terms of metal content compared to later pennies, which switched to a predominantly zinc composition. This change in the minting material, which happened in 1982, marked the last few years in which these heavy copper pennies were minted. The 1980 penny is one of the final batches before this change, and as a result, it holds a special place in the hearts of collectors who appreciate the quality and feel of these copper coins. However, the 1980 penny doesn't just stand out for its composition. One of the most important factors that make this coin valuable is rarity. While millions of 1980 pennies were struck, not all of them are in good condition. Over time, many of these pennies became worn and damaged through circulation, leaving behind fewer high-quality specimens for collectors to find. This means that finding a 1980 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition is no small feat, and these coins are highly sought after by those in the numismatic community. But wait, there's more. If you think this coin can't get any more interesting, think again. The 1980 Lincoln penny is also notable for the minting errors that can increase its value by a huge margin. Errors in coin production are one of the primary reasons certain coins become highly collectible and valuable, and the 1980 penny is no exception. Some of the most notable errors found on this penny include double die obverse, off-center strikes, and die cracks. A double die error occurs when the coin is struck more than once, causing the design to appear doubled. You'll often see this error on the date or lettering. For instance, the word Liberty might look like it has an extra shadow, or the number 1980 could appear with a faint, ghostly duplicate beside it. Double die errors are always in high demand among collectors, as they make a coin one of a kind, and finding one on a 1980 penny could really boost its value. Another error to look out for is an off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned with the die, causing the design to appear shifted off to one side. The more dramatic the misalignment, the more valuable the coin becomes. An off-center strike on a 1980 penny can make the coin look completely different from the standard issue, giving it a unique look that appeals to collectors who specialize in error coins. You may also find die cracks on certain 1980 pennies. These cracks occur when the die used to strike the coin develops a fissure, and that crack is transferred onto the coin's design. A die crack can create some interesting and unusual markings on the surface of the penny, making it stand out from the rest. Some collectors will pay a premium for these unique imperfections, especially if they occur in a noticeable location, like around Lincoln's portrait or across the date. So, how much could this humble 1980 Lincoln penny actually be worth? Well, if you're lucky enough to have a 1980 penny in uncirculated condition, you could be holding a coin worth a significant amount of money. But even rarer are the error versions, especially those with double die errors, off-center strikes, or die cracks. A high-quality, error-free 1980 penny could easily fetch $31,600. That's right, $31,600 for just a single penny. It might seem unbelievable, but the value of rare coins with minting errors is incredibly high. This price could go even higher depending on the rarity of the error and the condition of the coin. Error coins, especially those with noticeable or unique flaws, are highly prized by collectors, and prices for these pieces can skyrocket at auction or in private sales. If you're out there wondering whether you have a 1980 penny worth thousands, the best advice is to carefully examine your pennies. Look for clear signs of errors like doubled lettering, off-center designs, or die cracks. Even if your penny is just in excellent condition with no noticeable errors, it's still worth checking with a professional numismatist to see if it has any hidden value. In the world of coin collecting, the 1980 Lincoln penny is one of those coins that combines historical significance with the thrill of discovery. Whether it's the change in composition, the potential for errors, or the sheer rarity of uncirculated specimens, this penny is a treasure trove for collectors. So, the next time you find yourself flipping through a jar of pennies or sorting through change, take a moment to check for that 1980 date. You never know, it could be the key to unlocking a small fortune. Today, we're taking a closer look at a coin that might just be sitting in your collection or hiding in your pocket change. It's the 1985 Lincoln penny, and trust me, it could be worth way more than you expect. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just starting to explore the world of numismatics, this coin is definitely worth your attention. Stick with me, and I'll show you exactly why this unassuming penny could be a real treasure. Let's start with a little bit of history. By 1985, the Lincoln penny had been in circulation for over 75 years. The design, which features President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, had become iconic. But even though the coin was still in regular production, there was something special about the 1985 Lincoln penny that makes it so valuable today. At the time, the U.S. Mint was still using copper-plated zinc for its pennies, which gave these coins a unique feel compared to the solid copper pennies that were minted before 1982. The 1985 pennies were part of this change in materials, and while many of these coins were mass-produced, a few factors make certain 1985 pennies rare and highly desirable in the collector's market. So, what sets the 1985 Lincoln penny apart from other years? Well, it all boils down to a combination of rarity, condition, and errors. While most pennies from 1985 were circulated, some remained in excellent, near-perfect condition, and these uncirculated coins are highly sought after. But even more intriguing are the errors that occurred during production. Minting errors are one of the main reasons why certain coins skyrocket in value, and the 1985 penny is no exception. Some of the most notable errors that collectors are on the lookout for include double dies, off-center strikes, and die cracks. A double die error is when a coin is struck more than once by the die, causing the design to appear doubled. On a 1985 penny, this could mean that the inscription Liberty or the date 1985 appears with a noticeable doubling effect. Double dies are highly sought after by collectors because they make the coin unique, and the more pronounced the doubling, the more valuable the coin becomes. Another error you may come across is an off-center strike. This happens when the coin isn't properly aligned with the die during the minting process. The result? A penny where the design is shifted off to one side, giving it an unusual, one-of-a-kind appearance. Off-center strikes can add considerable value to a coin, especially if the misalignment is extreme. The rarer and more misaligned the strike, the higher the demand from collectors looking to add this unique error to their collections. Additionally, die cracks are another error that can occur on the 1985 Lincoln penny. These cracks form on the die used to strike the coins, and they are transferred onto the coin's design. These cracks can create interesting markings around Lincoln's portrait or across the date. The more visible and prominent the crack, the more valuable the coin becomes. Some collectors even seek out coins with die cracks because they are like a fingerprint in the world of numismatics. No two are exactly the same. Now, I know what you're thinking: how much is a 1985 Lincoln penny worth? Well, the value of the coin can vary significantly based on its condition and whether it has any errors. A regular, well-circulated 1985 penny might only be worth a few cents, but if you happen to have an uncirculated coin or one with a significant minting error, things can get much more interesting. A high-quality, uncirculated 1985 penny can be worth several $100s, but the real value comes when you find a coin with a rare error. Some of these coins can be worth thousands, especially if the error is highly sought after by collectors. And now, for the big reveal. If you happen to have an error coin from 1985, especially one with a dramatic double die, off-center strike, or die crack, you could be looking at a value of $30,100. Yes, $30,100 for a single penny. It's truly amazing how much a small minting error can increase the value of a coin, and the 1985 Lincoln penny is a perfect example of this. Whether it's the copper-plated zinc composition, the rarity of well-preserved specimens, or the sought-after errors, the 1985 penny is one of those hidden gems that could turn up in the most unlikely of places. So, what does this mean for you, the collector or casual coin enthusiast? If you've got any 1985 Lincoln pennies lying around, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. Check for any signs of doubling, misalignment, or cracks. Even if your penny looks ordinary, don't be quick to dismiss it. Sometimes the smallest detail can turn a common coin into a rare and valuable treasure. And remember, coin collecting is all about discovering something new, whether it's a piece of history, a rare error, or a coin that holds a special place in your collection. So next time you come across a 1985 penny, you might want to give it a second glance. You never know what you might have. Today, we're diving deep into the world of rare coins, and I've got an incredible find to share with you. It's a coin that's often overlooked but could be sitting right under your nose. We're talking about the 1967 Lincoln penny, a coin that holds more value than you might think. You might be surprised to learn just how much this humble penny can fetch in the collector's market, especially if you've got the right one. So, grab a seat, and let's take a closer look at why this particular penny could make you a small fortune. The 1967 Lincoln penny, like other pennies, features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, with the iconic Lincoln Memorial displayed on the reverse. This design, which was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, has remained a staple in American coinage for over a century. However, while most of these pennies were mass-produced and circulated without much fanfare, there's a specific reason why the 1967 penny stands out in the world of numismatics. First, let's talk about the state of the U.S. Mint in 1967. The country was in the midst of the post-World War II economic boom, and the minting process was busy keeping up with the rising demand for coinage. The 1967 pennies were made primarily from copper, which was standard at the time. However, there's one key factor that has contributed to the rarity and value of certain 1967 pennies: minting errors. Minting errors are a huge deal in the world of coin collecting because they make a coin unique. These are the coins that were struck wrong, misaligned, or had some sort of design flaw that wasn't caught by the minting process. In the case of the 1967 Lincoln penny, there are a few specific types of errors that make this coin so highly sought after. One of the most notable errors on the 1967 penny is the double die. Double dies are a result of the die striking the coin more than once, creating a doubled image on the coin. This can happen when the die used to imprint the design onto the coin is misaligned or experiences wear during production. In the case of the 1967 penny, you might notice a doubling effect in the lettering of Liberty, In God We Trust, or even the date, 1967. This is a highly coveted error because it's quite rare to find a coin with such a clear and visible double die. The more prominent the doubling, the more valuable the coin becomes to collectors, but that's not all. Another rare error that sometimes occurs on the 1967 penny is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned with the minting die, resulting in a misprint where part of the design is missing or shifted. Off-center strikes give the coin a unique appearance and make it stand out from regular, well-aligned pennies. The more misaligned the strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. Some collectors specifically look for these kinds of errors because of their rarity and unique look. Additionally, die cracks and clashed dies are other common errors that can make a 1967 Lincoln penny more valuable. Die cracks happen when the minting die becomes worn or damaged, leaving visible cracks on the coin's surface. This can create an unusual design or texture that collectors love. Clashed dies occur when two dies come into contact with each other during the minting process, transferring part of one design onto the other. This results in a coin with overlapping images or design elements, making it a very special and sought-after piece for coin collectors. So, now that we know why the 1967 penny is so interesting, you're probably wondering, how much could it be worth? Well, the value of the 1967 Lincoln penny varies significantly depending on its condition and whether it has any minting errors. A regular, well-circulated 1967 penny might only fetch a few cents, but if you're lucky enough to have one of the error coins I just mentioned, you could be sitting on a true treasure. For those of you who have a 1967 Lincoln penny in near-perfect condition or one that showcases a rare minting error, the value skyrockets. Some 1967 pennies with significant double die errors or other rare flaws can be worth thousands of dollars. But the big reveal is this: if you have a highly sought-after 1967 Lincoln penny with an error, it could be worth a staggering $46,000. That's right, $46,000 for a single penny. It's incredible to think that something as small and seemingly insignificant as a penny could hold such tremendous value. But that's the magic of coin collecting. You never know what you might find, and sometimes, the most unexpected coins can be worth more than you could ever imagine. Now, here's the takeaway. If you've got any 1967 Lincoln pennies lying around, whether they've been in a jar, a box, or a drawer for years, go ahead and give them a second look. Check for any signs of doubling, off-center strikes, die cracks, or clashed dies. Even if your coin looks ordinary at first glance, take a closer inspection. You could be sitting on a rare and valuable piece of history, and remember, coin collecting is about more than just the monetary value. It's about the thrill of discovery, the joy of owning a piece of history, and the excitement of learning more about the world of numismatics. Whether you're just starting your collection or you've been a collector for years, there's always something new and exciting to discover. Today, we're diving into a true hidden gem from U.S. coin history, the 1975 Lincoln penny. It's a coin that you might have brushed past in your collection, but there's much more to this penny than meets the eye. While the 1975 Lincoln penny might seem like just another ordinary coin at first glance, there are some rare and valuable traits that make it one of the most intriguing pennies in the numismatic world. For those of you who are just joining us or new to coin collecting, let me give you a quick rundown. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. Over the years, it has seen several changes in design, with the most common version being the classic bust of Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, which we see on the 1975 penny. But don't be fooled, this seemingly unremarkable design holds a lot of secrets that can make it incredibly valuable. Now, why is the 1975 Lincoln penny worth so much attention? The key lies in its rarity. condition, and most importantly, minting errors. While many of the 1975 pennies were produced in large numbers, a select few were struck with significant errors, making them highly prized among collectors. And those errors can turn what seems like a run-of-the-mill penny into something incredibly rare, an incredibly valuable. One of the primary reasons why the 1975 Lincoln penny is considered rare and valuable is due to its minting error called the double die obverse. This occurs when the coin is struck more than once with a misaligned die, resulting in a doubled design. If you look closely at the lettering on the obverse, particularly the words "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," you might notice that the words appear twice, slightly offset from each other. This doubling effect happens when the die fails to properly align during the minting process. The more pronounced the doubling, the higher the coin's value in the market, but the double die error isn't the only reason the 1975 Lincoln penny is worth so much. There are also off-center strikes, which happen when the coin is not perfectly aligned in the press, causing part of the design to be cut off. If you come across a 1975 penny that has a noticeable portion of the design missing, you could have an off-center strike that is extremely rare and could command a premium price. These off-center coins are highly sought after because of their unique appearance and the story they tell about the minting process. Another interesting characteristic that makes the 1975 penny even more valuable is the possibility of die cracks and clash dies. Die cracks occur when the minting die becomes damaged over time, resulting in visible cracks on the coin's surface. These cracks can create a very distinct pattern on the coin, adding a unique and collectible feature. On the other hand, clash dies happen when two dies come into contact with each other while they're supposed to be pressing coins, leaving an imprint of one die's design onto the other coin. These errors can create some truly fascinating and one-of-a-kind pieces, and they are prized by collectors who enjoy finding something that is out of the ordinary. Now, here's the part you've been waiting for: how much is a 1975 Lincoln penny worth? Well, the value of the 1975 penny can vary depending on its condition, rarity, and the presence of any errors. Most circulated pennies are worth just a few cents, but when it comes to those with prominent errors or those in near-mint condition, the price can skyrocket. For example, a regular 1975 penny might fetch only a few dollars in excellent condition, but when you find one with an obvious double die error or another rare flaw, you're looking at a potential windfall. A 1975 Lincoln penny with the right error, such as a prominent double die, off-center strike, or other rare features, can be worth as much as $78,800. Yes, you heard that right, $78,800 for a single penny. Imagine finding this treasure in your collection or while sifting through a jar of spare change. It's a reminder that the world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and you never know what might be sitting right under your nose. So, what's the takeaway here? Always keep an eye out for unusual coins, especially those from the 1970s. The 1975 Lincoln penny, with its variety of potential minting errors, is one of those coins that can make any collector's day. If you have a 1975 penny in your possession, take the time to inspect it closely. Look for signs of a double die, an off-center strike, die cracks, or any other unique features that might be hiding in plain sight, and remember, coins are not just about the money, they're about the history they represent. The 1975 Lincoln penny is more than just a piece of currency. It's a snapshot of a time when the U.S. Mint was churning out coins by the millions, with a few slipping through the cracks and becoming hidden treasures for collectors. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest discoveries. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep your eyes peeled, because that next coin you find could be worth $78,800. Happy hunting!